Welcome and thank you for joining us this evening for the premiere of the Walk a Mile film project. My name is John Hannum. I'm the City Clerk for the City of Thunder Bay, and with me on stage is Michelle DeRogier, filmmaker and principal of Thunderstone Pictures. Just to quickly run down our agenda for this evening, we'll have some opening remarks from honored guests, keynote address, then we'll watch the films, which is why you're really here. Following the films, and I would emphasize for you, there are 5 short films. Each one of them has an intro, so please don't think the film is ending when you see, until you've seen all 5. Following the 5 films, there'll be an open mic that'll be moderated by Yolanda Wanakamek, and we'll talk more about that later. First, to open our evening, though, I'd like to invite Elder Frida McDonald to share a prayer with us. Frida, where are you? You lost Frida.
Frida?
Can anybody see Frida?
She's coming.
Here she is. Okay, she's coming. So while Frida's making her way up, I'll just let you know that our keynote speaker this evening is Justice Murray Sinclair, the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and we're thrilled that he's agreed to be our keynote speaker. Unfortunately, Justice Sinclair has been called away on short notice to a meeting with Prime Minister Harper. However, he will be joining us via Skype, so we will still get our keynote speaker. He just will be in northern Saskatchewan somewhere talking to us over the internet. And here's Elder McDonald.
Whenever our people gather together, we always open with a prayer. You'll notice that even when we have our powwows, they're all open with prayer. So with that, I would like to welcome everybody here, and I'm honored to be asked to say the prayer for this evening. So I like to pray in my own language because I'm Anishinaabe, and I feel more connected to the Creator when I pray in our language. We'll ask the Creator to enter here to be with us and to listen to us, give us answers that we may have, and to bless every one of you, and myself too. So with that, I'll say the prayer. It'll be short. Hausan Mishomis. Bidas again on Dishnikas. Miskogaga again the Shepinikas. What we're going to equate the Shikenimigo, Kiwetno. Makondo them. Going, we're going to be 10 days, Shimagini Boyan. Kinoni go on Chibenamian. Mano dash non doishin, Mishomis. Gaining Bogosini Moan Gago. Showing Kino Goe, Nichip Matisik, Capitas Miga Boyat. Chimino Yawat, Chimas Sesigo. Chimino tap no what, Owega we open Chicadek Masnate. Canaway Mishinan, Copate in Mishina. Which is Shinam to Sogishik. Which is Shinam Chiminoki, Chimino Tagoshinam. And I am. Me is both sending me going. We got Chimigwich.
Thank you, Frida.
So now I'd like to welcome Mayor Keith Hobbs to say a few words.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I'd just like to recognize a few dignitaries tonight with us. We have Councillors Larry Hebert, Councillor Paul Pugh, Rebecca Johnson, Joe Verderamo, Ian Angus, and Councillor Linda Ridholm. Also want to recognize Ann McGiskin, our Aboriginal liaison, Chief Georgianne Morriso, Chief of Fort William First Nation, Michelle Desrosiers, producer and director, Thunderstone Pictures, Region Councillor Cam Burgess of the Métis Nation, and also Senator Bob McKay is with us. On behalf of my colleagues on City Council and the citizens of Thunder Bay, it is my pleasure to be here today for the premiere of Walk a Mile Film Project. It is amazing to see so many people in attendance, and thank you for showing your support for this important project, and by extension, thank you for moving our city forward. The Walk a Mile Project has an important goal: to foster conversations that will help us eradicate stereotypes, humanize Indigenous issues, and through that, build a stronger community. In Thunder Bay, as you know, we have a large Aboriginal population, and there is a need to bridge the gaps between the Indigenous and non-Indigenous residents. It is my sincere hope that the 5 short films you will see tonight will help us move forward together. These films tell the stories of our residents, stories that will help us learn from one another, empathize, and lead us to examine our preconceived notions about our fellow community members. After tonight's screening, these films will be used as educational tools in our community. This is important as there is a lack of such local anti-racism and cross-cultural resources, and I truly hope that they are experienced by many and their message resonates. I wish to congratulate the organizers of this project for their tireless efforts and their dedication to our community. And thank you to filmmaker Michelle Desrosiers for your hard work producing and directing these films. Your vision is inspiring us all to make the efforts to change our thinking, and through that, help build an inclusive community. Thank you as well to our city's Aboriginal liaison, Anne McGiskin, and her staff. You continually demonstrate a strong commitment to our community, and you're doing great work. Thank you again to those in attendance. Positive change starts with efforts like these. Your being here shows Thunder Bay is ready and willing to make the changes that are needed to be made. We need an active and engaged community if we're to reach our goals. And I have no doubt that the Walk a Mile Film Project will play a major part in that process. But it is important to remember the conversation doesn't end here. Those conversations must continue, and we must all participate. And I look forward to those discussions and solutions that evolve from them. Again, thank you everyone for showing up and being part of tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Chief Georgianne Morrisseau, Chief of Fort William First Nation, to also present welcoming remarks.
Bojoani, makadega boek dishnakaz makwadodem animiki waju donji. Good evening, everybody. Such a pleasure and an honor to be here. I'd just like to take this opportunity at this time to say Chimigwech to our elder Frida McDonald, who graced us with her beautiful words and her language, and a prayer to bless us all this evening. So again, Miigwech. In standing here, you know, it's amazing to see all the work that has been put into this effort of trying to eradicate and eliminate something that is so archaic and something that has been a detriment to so many nations and peace over the course of a lifetime. And it isn't without the efforts of these individuals like my sister, Michelle Desrosiers here, and without her vision and her efforts, this wouldn't have been a reality, but also for those who supported the project in ensuring that we could all take part in this evening and begin these discussions, the discussions that inspire healing, strength, and last but not least, hope and prosperity for not only us today, but in the future to come. So with that, I'd like to say again, Chimigwech, and again, welcome to our traditional territory of Fort William First Nation. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I'm so humbled to have been asked to be here this evening and be able to stand in front of all of you again this evening. So again, Miigwech.
I'd also like to introduce Region Councillor for the Métis Nations of Ontario, Cam Burgess.
Thank you, John. Thank you, elders. Thank you, senators. It's my pleasure to be here tonight as well. I'd like to acknowledge the following. Chief Morrisseau and her nation for sharing the traditional lands and also for their engagement in our community. Your Worship, Mayor Hobbs and Council, for creating the Aboriginal Liaison Office. I think this is the only one in Ontario that has it, if I'm not mistaken. And the Métis Nation of Ontario looks forward to signing a memorandum of understanding with our city so we can better aspire for a strong, healthy community. Again, acknowledge the keynote speaker. I guess he's coming on in a few minutes, so I'll make this snappy here. The team responsible for tonight's event, John Hanna, Joyce Hunter, and McGishkin, and of course Michelle DeRogier and her associates. So on behalf of President Lipinski and the 2,600 plus citizens in my region on our historical Métis lands in the Thunder Bay District, we bring you greetings. The object of the Walk a Mile project is to build an understanding between non-Aboriginals and Aboriginals. The Métis is one of the 3 Aboriginal people recognized in the Constitution. We often find that we are caught in the middle. Some say, not red enough, not white enough. So at times it's been a constant struggle to move our nation forward. History tells us that Louis Riel made a prophecy that the Métis would sleep for 100 years. Cultural, art, and music would bring back the spirit. He was hung in 1885, and in 1985, we became part of the Constitution. Tonight, what we will see is art through film. I believe the concept of this project and the goal of the different documentaries shown will tell the stories and will be a valuable tool for educators and organizations. Greenstone, North Shore, and the Thunder Bay Métis Councils are proud to be one of the sponsors of tonight's event. Thank you.
So I'm just going to say a few words before we start showing the films. There's a few people that I have to thank that actually contributed greatly to this. We wouldn't be sitting here this evening without them. So first of all, I want to just say thank you to all of you for coming, because this says to me, with the turnout tonight, that this is a community that cares. So that makes me happy. First of all, I want to say thank you to John. I want to say thank you to John for believing and for having courage, because sometimes this is not an easy thing to do. And he had sort of a blind faith in me that I was going to pull this off, so I really appreciate that. But more than that, I mean, I thank his courage to start the conversation, and I also thank him for his friendship. And also, within the Aboriginal Liaison Unit, I'd also like to thank Anne and Joyce for their tireless efforts. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scene in order to make nights like this work. And the both of them are very beautiful women and strong women, and I say miigwech to the both of you for all of your work. And also to Dave Clement, who has been, he is part of Thunderstone Pictures. However, he's been working in North Bay. He's become a professor at the college there, teaching film. But he agreed to help me finish this project and to work on this project with me because we started this together. And he's been working 18-hour days for quite some time. Trying to, be a professor and also try to do this for our community. And, it made me think of, you can take the man out of Thunder Bay, but you can't take Thunder Bay out of the man. So thank you, Dave. Because we wouldn't have these films without him. I just want you to know that, and I want to acknowledge all of his hard work. And also to my family and friends, This project has consumed the last 6 months of my life, and usually it's my children, Ashley and Cheyenne and Morningstar, that are sitting here with me, that suffer when I take on these projects because they don't see me. Morningstar hasn't had a home-cooked meal in quite some time. Not that I'm very good at that anyway, but anyway. So I just want to say thank you to my daughters and my sister Denise and my mom Nancy, who's here, that came from the reserve, came down to be here for this. So I thank you guys. I love you guys. Also, yes. And also to Scott, I just wanted to say thank you for your love, and also for reminding me to breathe. So Sarah and Josh, Sarah Furlot and Josh DeHaan, they're part of this team, and they've been not only helping to edit and do the production side of it, but also really supported me in friendship. And Sarah even was doing my dishes because there was no cups. Anyway, so, and also to the rest of the Walk a Mile team, which is Peter Skoronsky, Milo Skoronsky, Jessica Graham, and Sonia Lacroix, and Betty Karpik. And thank you all, really, from the bottom of my heart for what you've done. And last but not least, all of the participants that lent their voice to this project, whether it's on screen or off screen. Not everybody ended up on the screen, but there was about 30 or 40 people that I met with and spoke to and documented throughout this process. And I want to say thank you to all of you, because without you, we would not have these films. So, Chimigwich, for all of your efforts and for sharing your stories with me. And I also, before we show the films, I just want to say that this is only a starting point. It's a very small thing that we've contributed here, all of us as a community. But throughout this process, the thing that I learned is that I believe in this community, regardless of where you come from or who you are. And so I hope that this is a good starting place for us to have really courageous, meaningful, and honest, and sometimes hard conversations. So with that, I say thank you very much, Chimigwich, and I hope you enjoy the films.